It was exactly 8:12 on a rainy Thursday morning when my phone lit up with a message I never thought I'd receive. I was halfway through my first cup of coffee before work when I saw my ex-husband's name on the screen for the first time in almost 3 years. For a second, I honestly thought someone had died. Instead, it was a digital wedding invitation. Emma, I'd love for you to be there on my special day. It would mean a lot to me if you came. I hope we can finally celebrate new beginnings together. At first glance, it sounded polite, mature, even. But then I noticed the handwritten note attached beneath the invitation. Don't worry, everyone has moved on. Maybe it's time you did too. My stomach dropped, because I knew Daniel better than anyone. That wasn't an invitation, it was a performance, and he wanted me to be part of it. I wish I had ignored that message. Looking back now, that was the moment everything started. 3 years earlier, I truly believed I had the kind of marriage people dreamed about. Daniel and I had been together for almost 10 years. We met at a friend's backyard barbecue in Chicago when we were both in our 20s. He was charming without trying too hard, funny in a quiet way, and incredibly ambitious. Or at least, that's what I believed. I worked as a financial analyst for a healthcare company. Daniel was trying to grow his real estate business. During those early years, I supported us while he chased one investment after another. I paid more bills than I admitted to anyone. I skipped vacations so he could buy another property. I even cashed out part of my retirement savings when one of his projects nearly collapsed. Whenever my friends questioned it, I'd defend him. We're building our future, I'd say. I honestly believed we were. Then something happened that changed everything. Daniel's business finally took off. Within 2 years, he went from worrying about mortgage payments to driving luxury cars and attending charity galas with people who wore designer watches that cost more than my annual salary. At first, I was proud of him. Then I noticed he stopped introducing me as his wife. I'd stand beside him at networking events while he'd casually say, "This is Emma." Not my wife, just Emma. It seemed small, but those little moments piled up. Soon he started criticizing everything about me. You don't dress like the other wives. You should lose a little weight. You don't understand how successful people think. Every comment chipped away at my confidence. One evening, I spent nearly 2 hours making his favorite dinner after working late. He walked in, glanced at the table, and said, "You're still doing this?" What? This suburban housewife routine. I stared at him. "I thought you'd appreciate it." He laughed. "I can afford restaurants now." I remember standing there while the food slowly got cold. He never touched a single bite. I thought that was the worst part. I was wrong. About 6 months later, Daniel asked if we could have dinner together because he wanted to talk about our future. I actually felt hopeful. Instead, he slid divorce papers across the table between our plates. "I'm not happy anymore." Those 6 words erased 10 years. I asked if there was someone else. He looked me directly in the eyes. No, that lie lasted exactly 4 days. A coworker sent me a photo she'd seen online. Daniel was holding hands with a woman named Victoria at a luxury hotel opening. The comments underneath congratulated the city's newest power couple. Power couple, I still legally married to him. The divorce became uglier than I ever imagined. His attorneys argued that because his company's explosive growth happened recently, I deserved far less than people assumed. Every negotiation felt like another attempt to rewrite history. As if I hadn't sacrificed years helping him build everything, as if my support had never mattered. When everything was finalized, I walked away with enough to start over, but nowhere near what we'd built together. Daniel walked away with the mansion, the investment properties, the expensive cars, and apparently, Victoria, a mutual friend, later told me she'd come from an extremely wealthy family, old money, private schools. country clubs, everything Daniel suddenly wanted attached to his name. I packed my things, rented a small apartment across town, and tried to rebuild my life one quiet day at a time. It wasn't glamorous. There were nights I cried myself to sleep. There were mornings I had to force myself out of bed. But something slowly began changing inside me, without Daniel constantly criticizing me. I started remembering who I used to be. I joined a hiking group, started therapy, accepted a promotion I'd been too afraid to pursue before. For the first time in years, every achievement belonged entirely to me. No one could take credit for it. No one could diminish it. Life wasn't perfect, but it was peaceful. Then that wedding invitation arrived. At first, I deleted it. 10 minutes later, curiosity got the better of me. I reopened the email. The ceremony would take place at one of the most exclusive country estates outside Chicago. Black tie, over 300 guests, business leaders, politicians, media personalities. It looked less like a wedding and more like a publicity event. Then my phone rang. It was Lauren. She'd worked with Daniel years earlier and somehow remained friendly with both of us. "You got it too, didn't you?" "The invitation?" She sighed. "I need to tell you something." My heart sank. "What is it?" "I overheard Daniel talking last week." My stomach tightened. "He said inviting you would prove he'd completely upgraded his life." I didn't speak. Lauren continued quietly. "He actually joked that everyone would compare the two of you." My throat felt dry. "He said Victoria represents success, and you represent his past." I closed my eyes. Even after everything, those words hurt more than I expected. Lauren wasn't finished. "He also told people you'd probably show up alone. So they'd all see what happens when someone can't keep up." After we hung up, I sat motionless for almost an hour. Not because I wanted Daniel back. I didn't. I wanted nothing to do with him, but realizing he'd spent years planning one last humiliation that reopened wounds I thought had healed. I almost RSVP'd. No. Almost. Then something happened that changed everything. The following Monday, my company's CEO asked me to join a strategic acquisition project. It was the biggest assignment of my career. The client was an international investment firm purchasing several healthcare companies. The project would require months of confidential financial work with executives from around the world. It was exactly the kind of opportunity I'd always dreamed about. At the kickoff meeting, I walked into the conference room carrying my laptop, expecting another room full of strangers. Instead, one man stood up with a warm smile. "Emma?" I looked confused. "I'm Michael." It took me several seconds. Then I recognized him. We'd attended the same university years ago, not close friends, just familiar faces who'd occasionally studied in the same library. We laughed about how neither of us had recognized the other. Over the following weeks, we worked together almost every day. Unlike Daniel, Michael listened. He asked questions because he genuinely cared about the answers. When I spoke during meetings, he never interrupted. When I suggested ideas, he gave me credit publicly. One evening, after everyone else had left the office, he noticed me staring out the window. "You okay?" I smiled politely. "Long day." He nodded. I've learned that sometimes long day means something much bigger. That simple sentence nearly broke me because it had been years since someone noticed how I was really doing. I told him about the divorce. Not every detail, just enough to explain why trusting people wasn't easy anymore. Still